morning, everybody. So, I bring you greetings from my family, especially from Oluwalonimi, whom I call Nimi. I told her 2 days ago when I left Lagos that I was coming to Abuja to tell the world about her story. Our story. Okay, so, Linda. So I'm going to use Nimi's story to tell us about the benefits of inclusive education. So that's my daughter feeling cool with her glasses. So we've had this conversation, this very interesting conversation over and over again. If you ask my daughter, what will you be when you grow up? She will tell you, I want to be a lawyer. Like, but her mom too is a lawyer, and I told her, please, you can do that for your second degree. I want you to be a robotic engineer. I mean, that is the future. Mm-hmm. That is where the money is going to be in a few years' time. Please, But our conversation has not always been this way. When I got Nimi's diagnosis, that's me, and she was 1.1 kg, just like a doll. Just imagine a lizard. She was actually looking big in that picture. And what went through my mind was, why me? And at the back of my mind, I profiled the disability community. I did a quick scan of my community, and I couldn't remember the last time I saw a disabled child in the schools that I had visited, in the Sunday school classes, except in the pews during healing service. I couldn't remember seeing these children on the TV for children's plays. I couldn't remember seeing disabled children in supermarkets, parks in Nigeria, restaurants, and public places. I could only remember seeing disabled children by the roadside begging for money, as well as pictures of children at orphanages. So I wondered why the universe and the angels conspired to give me such a child that was different and was not accepted in my world. Concerning diagnosis, it took me a while to accept my daughter's diagnosis. I went through different stages of mental stress. I went through the denial stage. It's not my portion, doesn't belong to me, this is not happening to me. Then I went into the desperation stage. I went from one church to the other looking for a cure. And when that didn't happen, I became depressed. But finally, I sought for help. Early intervention. One of my daughter's therapists told me about the importance of early intervention. So I did a little research on my own and discovered that the first 5 years of a child's life is a period of incredible growth in all areas of the child's development. The things the child can see, the things the child can hear, touch, smell, taste, stimulate the brain, creating millions of connections. Therefore, early intervention, which includes mainstream education, is critical for a child with developmental disabilities. That was Nimi when she started school. She started at the age of 2. The main reason my daughter attended a mainstream school at the beginning was for social interaction alone and not to really learn. I was told that her brain was damaged, so I shouldn't expect much. So I didn't expect much. The first year she started school, she didn't show any sign that she understood or she was being taught in school, but we still kept her in school to study with her mates. Then, after my daughter attended a mainstream school for a few months, there were changes, just a few months, in the mainstream school. There were changes in her personality. She became more aware of the things she ought to be doing at her age. She began to babble more. She started moving. If you put her on her play mat, she started trying to move her body, to reach out to things. Within a year of mainstream schooling, you could see in her eyes that she was comprehending when you speak to her, but she couldn't just respond verbally. So, I realized that most children with developmental delays imitate other neurotypical children. Dear teachers, you can never know the capabilities of a child until you try, and keep trying to teach that child. Always, always assume competence. All it may require is to tweak your teaching style a little bit to accommodate that special class child in your class. Now, at the age of 4 years, my daughter had spent 2 years in mainstream school. She had learnt and could recite all her alphabet sounds, colors, shapes, animals, birds. She learned to count 1 to 50. She learned to count backwards from 20 to 1. She could read picture books. She understood addition and subtraction. She even participated in the school's spelling bee competition. Today, Nimi is 5 years old. She counts 1 to 200. She counts backward 50 to 1. Even numbers and odd numbers, she recognizes them and says them. She does mental maths. Mental math, because she can't use her hands, so she has to do mental maths. So if she's going to add 9 plus 2, she would say, I put 9 in my head, then you will show her something that she can use to count, then she will see and say 10, 11. So 9 plus 2 is 11, that's mental math. She knows her consonants and vowel sounds. She reads 3-letter storybooks, and we are just starting.
Yes.
Today, Nimi insists her class teacher must give her the same attention she gives her other classmates, even though Nimi has a support assistant in class. Nimi takes part in most activities in school. She doesn't want to be excluded because of her disabilities. Now, can't do versus can do. In spite of all these achievements in school, Nimi is still fully dependent. So she cannot sit on her own. She cannot stand on her own. She cannot walk. She cannot feed herself. She's not yet toilet trained. Her speech is not so clear. What else? I can go on, but I will stop. But we focus more on what she can do. If we were waiting for her speech to become clearer, or for her to walk, or maybe use her hands before starting school, she will still be at home doing nothing. During her exams, how is she assessed? She's assessed orally. Now let's talk a little bit about children that are not really like Nimi. Because some teachers may say not all kids are as intelligent as Nimi. They may say that some kids cannot learn. But I beg to differ. If animals can learn, I have seen a chicken play the piano. Yes. If animals can learn to perform functions that are attributed to humans alone, why not a human being? It only takes time, consistency, persistency, patience, creativity, but every child can learn. Every child has something he or she can do. They may not be so good in literacy and numeracy, but let them learn it anyway. It may be during extracurricular activities. that a child will find out his or her talent, sports, music, art. Musicians and footballers are one of the highest paid, and it doesn't require to speak English or be a mathematician. Guess what? It's not only Nimi that has benefited from inclusive education. Her classmates have also benefited. So they have benefited from having a classmate with a disability. They have learned differences and acceptance. They no longer think that people with disabilities come from strange worlds. Like they will say in my language, Abamieda. Most importantly, when these children grow up, one of them may just become a lawmaker who will push for disability bill to be passed into law. Another one may become the Minister for Transportation who will put disability-friendly buses on the road. A CEO that will employ adults that have disabilities. A scientist that will do groundbreaking research and find solutions to disability management. Medical doctors, and so on. So why don't we catch them early? Are there alternatives to inclusive education? Some may say, instead of these children going to school, can't we teach them at home? So how many of us here saw a video in 2017 of a 3-year-old girl with cerebral palsy that was assaulted by her physiotherapist? Okay. If you want to see it, I wouldn't show you. The last time I showed it in a class like this, people were crying. So if you want to see it, I think it's still on Linda Ikeji's blog. It's there. Then if you see me and I feel like showing you, I can show you afterwards. But that picture is not so clear. In that picture, the physiotherapist put her on a chair, twisted her hands to the back, both hands, and sat down on them. That was what was going on in that picture. But that was the least thing she did to her. She did horrible things to her. She threw her on the floor several times, and that floor is tiles. The beds hit her head. It was horrible, but everything was on the CCTV. She didn't know it was being recorded. So what I'm talking about is homeschooling. When that episode happened to her, we were traumatized. My daughter was traumatized. My family was traumatized. In fact, when the school called us to watch it, my husband was weeping. I had to be the one consoling him. So what happened was, we withdrew our daughter from school. We said, you know what? I don't care about mainstreaming anymore. I'm tired. I'm fed up. So we brought her back home and decided to homeschool her. It worked for a while. But then, apart from, it started telling on me actually, apart from the physical and the mental stress of taking care of a child with special needs all day, I didn't have time for anything else in my life. Because I had to ensure that she was following her work plan. I had to ensure that she was well taken care of. So my life was on a hold. Then my dear friend Toby, she asked me, so are you going to hide her in the house forever? At a point, you have to let her go. And the earlier she becomes independent, the better. So, even with that, I was reluctant to let her go. But at a time when her younger sister will go to school in the morning, Nimi will start to cry that she wants to go to school. So I have to stand up and look for another school for Nimi so that she could go back to school. So homeschooling is not the solution for children with disability. Some may say, oh, special needs schools, like I heard yesterday. Some states say, oh, at least let them go to school, let them just go to a special needs school. I have taken my daughter to Peto Institute in Europe. It is a special school for children with cerebral palsy. They have a great, great facility and great, great facilitators. Even with the best special needs schools, the question remains, when they leave the early years special needs schools, is there any secondary school that is fully for special needs children? Do we have? Please answer the questions, please. How many special needs tertiary institutions do we have in Nigeria?
None.
God bless you. So when they leave all the special needs schools that the government is creating, the states, the Ministry of Education is creating, do we have organizations for only special needs people?
No.
Do we have special needs communities that they will live in? Do we live in a special world? So they will go to special needs schools, then they will come back into this our own world, and we see that they are not normal because they have not been given the platform to integrate into the community. So they are bound to fail because we have programmed them to fail from the beginning. So we've answered all the questions. The practical solution is early integration into the community through families and mainstream schools. So that when next we profile the disability community in Nigeria, we can talk about a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a teacher, a movie star, a dancer, an artist, and not to forget, a robotic engineer who is living his or her dream in spite of having a disability. Thank you.
Can we please give Mrs. Ayinde a special hand? Let us quickly invent a clap for her. Coconut. Okay, let's give her special. Thank you so much for that very inspiring story. It's a good thing that you thought better of it not to show that video. I'm not sure I could have handled it.
True, absolutely.
It was terrible. I saw that video once on social media, and it was terrible. It's terrible how human heart is. But we thank God for you and the fantastic work that you have done to be an exceptional mother.
Yes.
Please, let's give it up for exceptional mothers in the room
Yes,
who are doing fantastic work every day, exceptional teachers, helping all these kids. It's like giving up a part of your life to help someone else's life work. It's incredible sacrifice. Unfortunately, society doesn't properly profile these things currently, but you guys are wonderful. Thank you for coming to these inclusive conferences, and you've been a lot for us. All right, I'm told that some of you might have one or two questions you might like Mrs. Ayinde to answer. Particularly some of you who are trying to manage with children with a similar condition. Any questions? Yes, ma'am, please. Ms. Ayinde, where are you? Please be ready to.
It's not actually a question. It's just an experience I have in a school, just to link with what she has told us this morning.
Okay.
My name is Odachi Shongotayo. I'm a special education teacher in government girls secondary school, Duse. I work there, and a student was brought to the school last year who has a little damage in her brain. They didn't really place the issue, but we just concluded that she has an extreme learning disability. But when she came in, I took my time, to work with her. And I discovered that she has some Did I say dyslexia? In a very extreme case, she doesn't know anything. That is, let me just put it in that layman language so that we can understand. She's a big girl, she's about 20. She managed to go through the junior secondary school. Of course, just let her just go. And when they brought her, one of my bosses here, Mary Ann, she was one that recommended her and brought her to the school. I started working with her. When she was in first term, all the teachers were complaining that special needs, because that is how they call me. This girl, she doesn't know it. I said, please, she knows something. I'm still working on her. I'm trying to find out what this girl can do. There's something in her. Like one of the discussants yesterday said there's an Esther in every child. So when she used that word yesterday, I just laughed. I said, there's something about this girl and I need to discover it. And first term went, we are in the second term, she was not comprehending anything. Then I started observing her. I discovered that if she's sitting down, she's drawing. She'll just be drawing. She'll be drawing. She'll be tearing paper. If she sees any piece of material, she's cutting. She's just doing something. And I took my time. Each time she do anything, I'll pack it and keep it in the office. I'll call her after class and say, what is this? I want to do flower. I want to do baskets. So you can, and I said, okay, can you draw me? She drew me. I said, wow. So you can draw. And this is what nobody discovered. And I said, okay, can you make a dress? She said, yes. I gave her a piece of cloth. She sat down, she cut. Where did you learn it from? She said, I do it on my own. Did your mommy know about it? There was a touch that was spoiled in the office. I asked her. She said she can repair it. And she repaired the touch. I said, are you an engineer? And from there, so I said, okay, let's do something. I took the picture of the principal, I gave it to her. Can you draw her? And she drew the portrait of the principal. And from there, I hand over to the fine art teacher. And now her mom have enrolled her in a sewing school, which she's going to during the holiday. And she's even attending one electrical something. I'm telling you now, Faith is her name. She's good in all the handwork, but academically, she's there. So what she says, there is something in every child, no matter what. No child is useless. All we need to do is just to take our time, and for the special education teachers, it's patience that we need to try to identify what is in the child, and we try to bring her out. And I know that even the secondary education board, they are taking up her case. They are already launching a kind of something for her to, to assist her in future. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was beautiful. Please, I really wish we had enough time to take all the engagement, but I will just give a minute or two to the permanent secretary, Kano State Ministry of Education. I'm sure they have inclusive stories I'd like to share. Sure.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm not giving a story, but I want to say I feel deeply touched by what I have seen. And using this medium, I think we need to appreciate what we have seen, because it's very constructive to the delivery of inclusive education in this country. Not many of us actually would believe that a child under such condition can be exposed to teaching and learning condition and be able to learn. So I feel we need to use the opportunity, particularly my colleague from the Federal Ministry of Education, if she is here, who was with us yesterday. She had the challenge of people not knowing what Federal Ministry of Education is doing. What I wanted to actually draw from this is the need for this video to go into wider circulation.
Yeah.
And the Federal Minister of Education has a responsibility over this, because showing this to our people will create and recreate confidence for those who might have children in similar condition and probably don't know what to do with them, just like Nimi's mother has informed us. So I think all of us that are here will need this video. I personally want to say, if we have it, we will try to gather stakeholders in Kano in the same manner we've been talking to them, to show them this, and they would equally take it off.
Fantastic.
I want to congratulate Nimi's mother. She has really impressed me. I cannot even express my appreciation to her for her courage, for her perseverance, for her resilience. And I don't know, was she a professional? Because
No,
the
she's
way
a
she
lawyer by
really
training.
did it is wonderful. So I want to say, please keep it up. She is now a consultant in this field.
Exactly.
And we might maybe one day refer to her to give us a talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very brilliant. I think that he has raised a very important issue. If we can have a video project that profile all of these stories coming out. I mean, the story you just shared now, fantastic. And Nimi's story and several other stories, we can have a compilation, some kind of video project, so that it will help to push the conversation around inclusive education going forward. I know the repertoires are here listening, so you will please include that in your recommendations coming out of this conference. Thank you. Maybe now we can also decide that we will not refer to these children as children with disability. Maybe we start to refer them to children with this ability. THIS. You get that? So when you see that, I said this ability. So there's an ability inside that child. It's not a DIS, it's a